It's time to take a trip around the world and delve into all the weird foods our species like to chow down. Unfortunately, the world is only full of those tasty breakfasts we spoil you with a while back, if only. Consider this a public service and an education to save you from shock when you come across these weirdest foods from around the world. Escamoles from Mexico. Escamoles, or ant larvae, is a dish native to central Mexico, once considered a delicacy by the Aztecs, insect caviar, if you will. Their price today continues to reflect this high-minded status. As far as insect-related pre-Hispanic foods go, this one is better than it sounds. The light-colored eggs, harvested from maguey plants, resemble white corn kernels or pine nuts. They have a poppy texture, more crunchy if fried, and a slightly nutty taste. Often pan-fried with butter and spices, escamoles can be found in tacos and omelets or served alone, accompanied by guacamole and tortillas. It's indigenous, tasty, and memorable, without the gross-out factor, for some of us, of those fried maguey worms, another common pre-Hispanic insect food. It may look like a grain salad, but this dish is actually made up of ant larvae. Often called insect caviar, escamoles are considered a delicacy in Mexican cuisine and consumption dates back to the Aztecs. Eggs are harvested from the root systems of the maguey and agave plants, and the tiny larvae can be found in tacos, omelets or just on their own. Surprisingly pleasant, these little larvae are crisped up with butter or deep-fried and have a slightly nutty taste. Century egg or piton, also known as preserved egg, 100-year egg, 1000-year egg, 1000-year-old egg, and millennium egg, is a Chinese preserved food product and delicacy made by preserving duck, chicken or quail eggs in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, quicklime, and rice hulls for several weeks to several months, depending on the method of processing. Through the process, the yolk becomes a dark green to gray color, with a creamy consistency and strong flavor due to the hydrogen sulfide and ammonia present, while the white becomes a dark brown, translucent jelly with a salty flavor. The transforming agent in the century egg is an alkaline salt, which gradually raises the pH of the egg to around 9 to 12, during the curing process. This chemical process breaks down some of the complex, flavorless proteins and fats, which produces a variety of smaller flavorful compounds. Some eggs have patterns near the surface of the egg white that are likened to pine branches, and that gives rise to one of its Chinese names, the pine-patterned egg. The method for creating century eggs likely came about through the need to preserve eggs in times of plenty by coating them in alkaline clay, which is similar to methods of egg preservation in some Western cultures. The clay hardens around the egg and results in the curing and creation of century eggs instead of spoiled eggs. The traditional method for producing century eggs is the development and improvement from the aforementioned primitive process. Balut from the Philippines. A balut, spelled standardized as balut, is a developing bird embryo, usually a duck or chicken, that is boiled and eaten from the shell. It originates and is commonly sold as street food in the Philippines. They are often served with beer. The Tagalog and Malay word balut means wrapped. The length of incubation before the egg is cooked is a matter of local preference, but generally ranges between 14 and 21 days. It costs around $0.75 to $1 and you can get it everywhere in Philippines. The eating of balut is controversial due to religious, animal welfare and human health concerns. Traditionally, the fertilized eggs are incubated in the sun or buried in sand, and stored in baskets to retain warmth. After 9 days, the eggs are held to a light to reveal the embryo inside. The production of balut depends on egg maturation cycles, where the egg begins developing and changes in texture. Throughout these various maturation periods, different temperatures are required to accentuate the specific egg and embryo characteristics. Prairie oysters. Rocky Mountain oysters, also known as prairie oysters in Canada, is a dish made of bull, pig or sheep testicles. The organs are often deep-fried after being peeled, coated in flour, pepper and salt, and sometimes pounded flat. This delicacy is most often served as an appetizer with a cocktail sauce dip. Some of the very first ranchers to inhabit the West needed inexpensive sources of food, so they experimented with different cuts of meat. And because they didn't waste any part of the animal, they began cooking testicles with branding coals. And you know what? They were delicious. $5 a piece. Now, these oysters are typically found in the American West and Western Canada, where young animal castration is commonly used to control breeding. Fugu from Japan. Most people do not consider the possibility of death a reality during their daily meal, but for those eating fugu, it's something that must be considered. Fugu is a Japanese puffer fish that contains enough poison to kill 30 people. The chefs who prepare this expensive Japanese delicacy must undergo years of training. The restaurant preparation of fugu is strictly controlled by law in Japan and several other countries, and only chefs who have qualified after 3 or more years of rigorous training are allowed to prepare the fish. Fugu poison is 1,200 times stronger than cyanide, and there is no known antidote. Served in a stew, grilled or as paper-thin sashimi, any small mistake in preparation could mean an untimely end to the consumer. Those wishing to try this deadly delicacy should visit Japan during October to March when fugu is in season. These are the top 5 weirdest foods which are found around the world. These are a must-try before you die. For more videos please subscribe.